Hey, what's up guys, and yes, brand new series if you're new. Welcome to Anime King 3, which you know all what ifs are created by me over here. So just sit back, relax and enjoy. What if Naruto was created by the Otsutsuki clan? Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, and share it on your social media platform, guys. And remember, for new Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, all my channels, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. We begin this episode in the depths of space. Cold, unfeeling, uncaring space. A depth that no one could ever really grasp. Space. The place was filled with planets, moons, stars, suns. But there was something hurtling from space. Whatever it was fast, like incredibly fast. It had a strange golden aura around it, as it whipped past planets after planets. It did not stop or slow down, not even once. It just kept on moving, whipping past planets after planets, until it came up on a very special place, where our story begins, the Elemental Nation. At the moment, heartbeats were beating rather fast for many citizens of the Hidden Leaf Village. The reason being, the massive nine-tailed beast could be seen a distance away. The village had just been attacked by the beast, but through the combined efforts of 1. Jiraiya, the Toad Sannin, Hiruzen, the former third Hokage, and Minato Namikaze, they were able to beat back the beast. Minato had vanished, leaving Hiruzen and Jiraiya to fight the thing. He was gone somewhere. They did not know where exactly, but he was gone. He then returned a moment later. He looked relatively fine, but it seems like he had been through a fight, just by the way he moved. But none of them had time for that. Minato quickly made his way as he had a choice to make. He was the only one that can do this. There was no one else. As he moved and teleported the beast away, along with himself. "Where's he going?" said Hiruzen, as Jiraiya turned his head. Jiraiya realized what Minato was about to do. Damn it, as the man rushed off at top speeds, followed by Hiruzen and Sarutobi. But when they got there was a massive barrier that stopped them from entering. As Minato stood in the center of the field, behind him was his beautiful wife, Kushina Uzumaki. You could see on her face she was exhausted from giving birth to not one, to not two, but to 3 children. She gave birth to 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. And then she had the beast ripped out of her. She was physically and mentally exhausted from the events of the night. But she had to be strong for her kids. Minato had spoke to her. The chances of her living through this, sealed by the beast inside of her, was slim. She might die, and Minato didn't want to upset the balance of power. But Kushina just want her kids to grow up in a life of happiness. But the way things are right now, they doubted that there was another way. The 3 babies all lined their baskets. One of them was a girl. She already had hair, red hair. The second child, he was a boy. His hair was a mix between his parents, red and blonde. The third child had pure red hair. The third child was Menma. The second child was Naruto. And the first child was Mito. That were the names of her triplets. When she had found out that she was giving birth to triplets, she and Minato were overwhelmed, as they couldn't believe it. Triplets. That was a lot. But they always wanted a big family. As the both of them lost a lot when they were younger, so having a big family was a gift to them, and they wouldn't give it up for anything in the world. But at this moment, Minato saw that he was gonna die, as he wasn't going to be there to raise his children. But there was no other way. He was gonna split the beast into 3 parts, so that he will be able to master and control that power, and use it against that masked man that he fought recently. Without wasting any more time, he started to go through hand signs, as he was about to summon the god of death. But at that moment, something happened. That thing that was hurtling through space broke through their atmosphere and landed right there. Kushina was caught up in the whole situation, and Minato was caught up as well. Neither of them noticed because the thing was small. Yes, it was small as a mere finger. It was a capsule of sort. As it was immensely small, it landed right in the second basket and literally burned through it because of the intensity and heat that it came down with, as it buried into the ground. The child started to cry as a burning sensation. He had felt it because of the heat. That caused Kushina to snap her head towards her children, more tears in her eyes as Minato looked back. The capsule then broke. Upon breaking, something came out of it. Whatever it was golden, and it was fast. It slipped through the hole and went straight into the second child, the one that is named Naruto. In an instant, the child's eyes snapped open as they flashed a brilliant shade of gold. He started to levitate, confusing the couple. Even the fox that was currently being restrained by the chains was looking at the child as he was glowing bright. What the hell is that? One of the envoys said at the barrier, as Minato and Jiraiya looked up. The child was levitating a good distance away from the ground. He then started to cry. Upon crying, literal arc of golden lightning spread from him. Minato had to move as one strike where he was. He had to grab the basket of the other 2 children and move them rather quickly. As he shielded Kushina, he stood right in front of her because she was holding down the fox. For the fox itself, it cried out in pain as it was hit rather violently by the bolt. It roared, shaking the surrounding area. The cold, menacing eyes of the fox focused on the child, as another bolt slugged forward and broke the chains. Kushina cried in pain, as her chakra chains were her chakra itself, so having it severed and broken like that, well, it dipped her chakra down and she was already weak to begin with. The fox was now freed, as it launched forward to rip into the child, to tear it apart. No! Kushina screamed. Minato cursed as he tried to reach for one of his kunais, but he was not fast enough. But then something strange happened. The child's eyes glowed once again. The 9-tailed fox was sent hurtling through the sky. It was just blasted away. The force, unnatural. The barrier that Minato put up literally exploded. The people of the Hidden Leaf Village eyes went wide, as they couldn't believe it as they looked up to the heavens when they saw the massive 9-tailed fox falling down towards them. The child then started to scream. Upon releasing that scream, there was a sonic wave that came from his mouth, as everyone could see it bright as day. It spread through the heavens at abnormal rate. No one could track it. They only saw it when it slammed into the fox. The fox was suspended in mid-air as it started to roar and howl. Its entire body started to get convulsed. with that glow. The yellow glow spread over its body, changing its fur. As the fox started to thrash around in mid-air, it screamed as it started to gather its chakra, but the ball that it was trying to create stopped as the fox kept on screaming. The moment its entire body was enveloped, the child then screamed louder than before. The nine-tailed beast, the Bijou's overall, was tailed beasts. A beast of chakra that could not really be killed. Well, there were special circumstances, but this was not one of them. But at that very moment, the fox literally exploded in front of everyone's eyes. Not in blood or gore, but in chakra. As that chakra was yanked towards the child, he opened his mouth as he swallowed every last bit of that chakra. He literally just swallowed it. His body started to glow orange. It was then that he stopped crying. "Minato!" Kushina yelled as the child started to fall. Minato leaped forward as he caught the child in his arms. Minato watched those blue eyes, looked at him. As the child then fell asleep, Harrison and Jiraiya had rushed over at their top speed. "What the hell was that?" said Jiraiya in shock. Well, everyone was in shock from that display. The people within Konoha though were cheering, thinking that Yellow Flash had killed the nine-tailed fox. As Minato was confused, so was Kushina. But her body finally gave in. As she passed out, he rushed over towards her. She checked her pulse. It was incredibly low. Harrison shouted, "Medics!" he cried out. As the medical ninjas rushed over, time skip. A few days later, Tsunade Senju did not want to be in this village. She really didn't want to be here. But Minato had made a deal with her. If she helped with his wife and his child, he will allow her to go and do what she wants out there. But she would have to come back now. The both of them almost fought. Minato had went himself. Kushina was in a comatose state, having the nine tails ripped out of her after giving birth. She might be a Uzumaki, but her body was put through extreme trauma, and not to mention his child Naruto would not wake up. The medics could not understand their expertise when it comes towards certain things were not at level of Tsunade's. It took days, just days for Jiraiya to track her down, and Minato had followed afterwards. He made it plain and simple with her. Either she come back to the village now or he will forcefully bring her back. Tsunade was willing to actually fight the man until Jiraiya pleaded with her. It was for Kushina. Despite her pain and agony that the village has given her so far, Minato had made a deal with her, as he would not force her to come back afterwards, as long as she come back now and make sure his child and wife was okay. Seeing that the man was desperate in need of her help, she came back, but afterwards, once this was done, she was gone. She was gonna leave this place once again. She could not bear it, staying at this place as much as Kushina had begged her to stay the night when she was about to leave. But she still left. She knew that Kushina was angry at her, but she still left. But she was now here checking over them. It was a good thing that she came though. If she hadn't intervened, Kushina would have died. There was too much stress placed on her body. As the comatose state, she seemed like she was about to wake up, but Tsunade placed her in a self-induced coma as she worked on the woman. A few hours of surgery with constant chakra purifying to get her systems back up to check. As for the child heartbeat, everything was normal, but he just wouldn't wake up. His body seemed like it has been through. Tsunade couldn't explain it. "I don't understand," said Minato. "I don't understand myself," said Tsunade. "It's like his body has been through over 1,000 years of war." Tsunade was confused herself, as Jiraiya didn't understand. It's like, picture you having slept in 1,000 years. And now you finally get a chance to sleep. So he's just tired? Yes, but unusually tired. To the point where he's not waking up at all. But his vitals are steady. His heartbeat, everything is normal. But what you guys told me, I don't see how that is possible. He's just a baby. As Jiraiya had told her what happened. They were just a select few that knew this. Minato and the others had kept it away from anyone else. Because something like this doesn't happen every day. And for now, people thought that Minato was the one that killed the Ninetales. But no one had said anything about it so far, to say that he was not. But until they find out anything, they were gonna keep Naruto out of the spotlight. Minato came in the room, where his child and wife were. Kushina was in one bed, Naruto was in one. He placed his hand on both of the beds, praying to Kami that everything worked out. He had been taking care of his other two children. He had a lot of help and support. But he just wanted everything to work out. He didn't know how this happened or what happened, but he was given a chance to live. They were given a chance to live and watch their children grow up. But he just prayed to Kami that everything works out. Time skip. After everything was said and done, a few more days passed. The village returning back to some sort of normalcy. The buildings that were destroyed were being repaired. Good thing enough Jiraiya was here to help with the fighting of the Ninetales, otherwise there would have been a lot more damage. But the people were relieved and happy that the Ninetales was finally dead, and it would not come back to wreak havoc on them. So the village started to get repaired. As Kushina was still in her coma and Naruto was still sleeping, Tsunade had taken her body out of the medical induced coma. But her body was still not healthy enough to wake up. She was still resting though, but on her own terms. Her Uzumaki bloodline should be enough to handle the rest. As Tsunade sat inside, Shizune was helping the other woundeds from the attack. Tsunade sat there in the chair. There wasn't much else to do then. Be at the hospital or drink. Jiraiya was subtly convincing her to stay, but she made it plain and simple that she would not stay. She didn't have anything more left. She had burned bridges with Kushina a long time ago, when she left after Kushina had begged her to stay with her, as she was the few family that she had left after all, related by the name Uzumaki. At that moment though, Kushina woke up, her eyes fluttering open. Out of everything that she expected to see, Tsunade was not one of them. Tsunade? Kushina tried to get up. Shh. Rest. I would not advise getting up yet. What are you doing here? Said Kushina. Minato came to find me. You were in a bad state after giving birth, and with the beast ripped out of you. So I came to help. Kushina was angry, but she couldn't be at the moment because she was feeling so out of it. The memories then clipped back in her head. Where's my baby? She said. Calm down, Kushina. They're fine. It was then that Kushina noticed there was another. As she turned her head, tears come into her eyes. She saw there was wires attached to him. He doesn't look fine, she shouted. What's going on? Those are just monitoring his heartbeat, to make sure that he's stable. To make sure that he's stable? What happened? What's going on? He's not waking up. Kushina's heart sank. He's not? Formally there is nothing wrong with him, but he's just tired. Tired? From what he did? I don't understand what happened to him. How was he able to do that? The Ninetales, he destroyed it. I don't understand myself, Kushina. I'm confused just as you. But getting ahead of yourself and pushing yourself is not gonna help. Just please rest. Said Tsunade as her hands started to glow green. She was slowly relaxing her so that she can go back to sleep. Where's Minato? I need to talk to Minato. Not now. Just get some rest. Everything will be fine. Just get some rest. Alright. But Tsunade. Yeah? Please, don't leave again. There's a lot here. Just please, stay. I want you to be a part of my family. To be a part of these kids' life. I know that you have lost a lot, but this is a way for all of us to be together once again. I beg you, please stay. If not for me, for the kids. I know they don't have much say over what you do, but please, I'm begging you. As Kushina fell asleep, Tsunade cursed as she felt tears in her eyes. She didn't like to feel this way. She didn't want to feel this way. But hearing that, and she shook her head as she released a breath. Damn it, she said once again. The door opened up. Tsunade-sama? As Shizune came in. Shizune, how is everything? The others are in a stable condition. They will make it, said Shizune with a smile. As Tsunade looked at her. You enjoy doing that, don't you? Helping people? Why, of course. That's the whole point of being a medic, said Shizune. She then got a sad look on her face. So, when are we leaving, she said. Tonight. Go and pack your stuff, said Tsunade. Alright, Tsunade-sama. Wait. As Shizune stopped. Yes, Tsunade-sama? Let's stay for a while until Kushina and the kid wake up, okay? Shizune smiled at that. Alright, she said, as she looked a lot more happier than before. Tsunade leaned back against a chair. As Shizune left. I know you're there, she said. As the window slid open as Jiraiya stepped inside. Huh. Sorry about eavesdropping, Haim, he said. I was just wondering how everything was going. Tsunade sighed. You heard that, don't you? Let me guess. You want me to stay? Well, it will be a lot better if you stick around, but... Well, you made a deal with Minato, so it's up to you. Tsunade sighed once again, as she just leaned back, not saying anything. Time skip. Kushina had her two babies in her arms. It has been a week and so. A couple of days. Her body was getting along nicely. But there was still. Well, her body was not 100% yet. And not to mention her son Naruto was out of it. Minato was in the room, as she was holding on to her little boy and girl, Menma and Mito. The both of them were asleep in her arms. Minato was looking down at Naruto, who was still not awake yet. The child had been sleeping ever since. He was alive, brain functions were 100%. But he was just not waking up. It was then that Minato noticed something alarming. As he gasped, "What is it?" said Kushina. "His face." Huh? As Kushina leaned over as she saw strange markings on her baby face. What are those? Minato reached forward as he tried to touch it, but there was a spark. A golden spark that shook his finger. "I'm not sure," he said. Kushina was just getting more and more worried at all of this going on. Time skip. Another 2 weeks passed. Minato came by almost every day. Kushina's body was still not 100%. Even with her being a Uzumaki, almost dying, that would take a toll on anyone. But she was getting there nicely. It has been a while and Tsunade was still in the village. He was happy about that. She didn't seem like she was gonna leave just yet. Kushina was currently breastfeeding her two other babies in the room, her mind wandering towards Naruto every single moment, as he just wouldn't wake up. She didn't understand. She cried almost every night and praying to Kami that he woke up. She loved all of them. She wanted all of them to be happy. She just wanted them to be safe and happy. That's all that she asked for. It was then that she heard something. It sounded like a small laughter. She turned her head as she gasped. She reached as she pressed the button beside the hospital bed. As she pulled herself out of bed, she was able to walk, as she was still breastfeeding her two babies, both of them latching on. She stood over the crib as she saw him there. His eyes were open, but they were different. The last she saw, his eyes were blue, but now they were a star. A strange golden star. There was a white circle around it, and this golden star was looking at her. He reached out to touch her, but she was still holding on to both of her babies. As she looked down towards him, her hair coming down towards his face, he giggled. He was smiling and laughing. Minato entered the room. Kushina, he said, as she had pressed the button. Minato, he's awake. As Tsunade followed not too long after, she reached in as she took off all the wires. As she picked him up in her arms, he was different. They were strange, golden markings that came from his eyes going down towards his cheek. They seemed to be glowing, as it was on both right and left eye, and it also went up into his hair as well, while his eye were a golden star, a 7-point star. She looked towards the couple, as they looked confused as well, as the baby just kept on laughing, as he seemed to find something rather amusing, what they did not know. But Kushina had a smile of relief on her face. Time skip. Later that night, the two other babies were asleep, as she was holding Naruto in her arms. When he had fallen asleep, she was afraid, but he was just asleep, as he had woken up back and then fallen back asleep, acting like a normal baby now. There was a knock on the door. Come in, she said, as Tsunade entered the room. As Kushina gave her a look, she had recovered enough now. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for coming back and helping me and my child. That was all that she said. As Tsunade came over and sat down. You're still angry, aren't you? What kind of question is that? Of course I'm angry. More like I'm furious. I begged you. I pleaded with you, yet you just left. You didn't care anymore. You just left. You were the closest thing, the only thing I have left as a family. I wanted you to be a part of my life, to be here with us, but you just left me. So why should I really care anymore? I appreciate your help and everything, but you did it once. Why wouldn't you do it again? I was wrong, said Tsunade. Since I left, I've been doing nothing but drinking and gambling. Shizune has been following me, helping me. I just realized what kind of strain I've been putting on her, how I've been treating her, and yet she never complained. But when she was taking care of people, when she was here working in the hospital with other medics, friends from her past, she was so happy. But the moment I told her to go, that we were gonna leave, I saw her face just drop. It got me thinking about everything. Kushina remained quiet as she listened to all of this. I was wrong, okay? I feel horrible for all I did. All I did was try to push over my pain with drinking and gambling, but it didn't work at nights. Without the liquor or the machines, everything just came back full force. She sighed and lowered her head. I don't know what to do. Kushina took a deep breath. The Uzumaki motto is to never give up on family. Family means everything. So I'm asking you, even though you broke me the last time by leaving, I'm more like begging you, please, just stay. You are a part of this family. It doesn't matter how you want to phrase it, you are a part of this family. After all, you saved my life. You allow me to experience life with my children. And you watch over little Naruto here. So please, just stay. I know that you've been through a lot, but I will do my very best to help you through it. No matter what, I will help you however I can. I know that it will take a while, but please, just stay. Kushina pleaded. Alright, said Tsunade. A bright smile came on Kushina's face hearing that. Thank you, she said. Time skip. A few years later. It has been a couple of years. 6 in total since the attack on the village, since the Ninetales attack, when they tried to ravish the entire village. The people saw, plain as day, as the fourth Hokage had killed the Ninetales. That was the news that spread throughout the nations. The balance of power had shifted right there. While Minato was a dangerous man in his own right, and no one would ever think of attacking the leaf because Minato was there. Hearing that he had killed a Bichu, well, that had surprised many people. The only person that fought Bichu in a standstill was the third Raikage, and he had knocked out the 8 tails, but he had been unconscious as well. But Minato had killed the 9 tails. Hearing that, people were shocked, stunned. Not seal it, he had killed it. As everyone had saw that night, there was no mistaking it. No one would go out of their way to attack the leaf, knowing what the leaf was capable of, the power that Minato has. And now they heard that Tsunade Senju has returned back to the village, along with the other Sanin Jiren, along with the former third Hokage. People would not just go attacking the Leaf Village. It had too many prospect shinobis. The Uchiha clan, the Hyuga clan, Kakashi Hatake. The Leaf was dangerous, and everyone knew that. So despite not having a tail beast, no one will outright attack it, because they knew what would happen if they did. At the moment though, 6 years has passed like that. It seemed to be gone by so quickly. A lot had happened in these 6 years, but for one, the 3 kids have grown. Yes, they have grown into 3 lovely kids. Their personalities were completely different from each other, none of them being the same. For one, Mito was just like her mother, headstrong, powerful, sweet, and nice. But she had a rather feisty temper. Menma, on the other hand, well, he was different. He was like his father. He was calculated, he was smart. He thought about things first before doing anything. Even when getting into trouble, he thought about the variant of what would happen, including the punishment. But there was the last one, Naruto. Well, he was different, completely different. For one thing, his personality did not resemble any of them. He was just different. You had to talk to him to see what I'm talking about. At the moment though, at the park, Mito, Uzumaki Namikaze, was currently looking around, as she couldn't find them anywhere. She looked in bushes, she looked up in the trees, as she could not find them. She then heard something, as she slowly made her way. As she saw there was a rock. The rock formation looked rather strange, so she pushed it to the side. And there was a slope that went down. She looked down there, as she saw Menma. Damn it, he said. Found you, she said, as Menma crawled out of the hole. How did you find me, I thought. My hiding spot was quite logical and impossible to find. Why would you think of the rock debris? I guess I just know how you think. Now to find Naruto. As Menma looked around. That is gonna be harder than it freeze, said Menma. Yeah, I know, said Mito. Naruto seemed to be a master of hide and seek. He was literally impossible to find. So they searched. They searched for a full hour and he was nowhere to be seen. When they were finally tired, we give up. We can't find you, you win. Again, said Mito. I guess you're getting worse at this, not better. Both of them were startled as they turned around. Where were you? Said Menma. Hiding. Where? Why would I tell you that? Said Naruto. Next time you would just search there first. Yes, I guess that is logical, but come on. I need to know, said Menma. This is our 20th game, And you've never been caught once. It is highly impossible that your spot is that amazing. We told you not to leave the vicinity, but yet we still cannot find you. We searched every inch of this park. I did not leave the vicinity. I promised that on my life. But, well, you were just bad at this. I refuse to believe that you are here, said Mito. No one can be that good at hide and seek. Well, I guess I am, said Naruto. Come on, you're just sore losers, he said to them. The both of them frowned as they glared at him, as he simply walked off. Where are you going, said Menma. In the village, said Naruto, as he walked off leaving them. He can be a real hard ass sometimes, said Mito. Yeah, said Menma. Despite that they love their brother. They love their entire family. Meanwhile, as Naruto walked, Naruto was not normal. His parents had never brought up what happened that night, choosing to just kill that at every possible way. The people of the village saw him, as he was greeted with smiles and waves. He waved back and smiled back. The people loved him. They worshipped him because he was the son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, well, Minato mostly because he was the fourth Hokage. But in a sense, Naruto was and he was not. The thing was, he was their son. After all, this was him. But he was also someone else. Well, something else. And that thing wasn't exactly human. As he calmly made his way, it was then that he simply vanished. As he reappeared on top of the Hokage monument, in a burst of speed, his hands in his pockets. He was abnormally fast. But yet, he did not show that to most people because, well, he was in hiding. He was in hiding because there was a lot of people hunting him down. And these were not normal peoples, these were Otsutsukis. Otsutsukis were a breed of alien, well, you can call them alien because they were alien people on Earth here. But they were beings that wanted to become perfect. And he was created by them. And they were after him now because of something that happened. The reason why he was here. He was made for some diabolical reasons, but he figured that this is a new start. This is a new life. He had fully taken custom of this body. There was no other person in here. He was Naruto, Uzumaki Namikaze. He had been that way since his body was born. And there was no change in that. He would never reveal who he once was in the past, or what he once was. That remained his own little secret, but he was created by some powerful individual that would love to capture him once again. But that would not happen. So he will remain here on Earth and enjoy his time with his little family until this body of his died. While he was completely in control of this body, it was still gonna age like a normal child. And it will die one day, but he, well, the thing that he once was, it would once again emerge. And he would have to run and hide once again, otherwise they will find him. And if they do, they were gonna bring him back. And he couldn't allow that to happen. He would never go back there. He sat down as he placed a hand on his chin. There were several things that he noticed so far. First thing, they were using chakra and using some strange form of shinjutsu, or you could call it divine technique. They call it ninjutsu though. But this was just a weaker form of that. They had to use those silly hand signs. That was quite pathetic. As Naruto held out his hand, there was a small flame that gathered in his palm before he squashed it. As he shook his hand, he looked off over the village. This planet, they weren't supposed to possess the form of energy that they had, which they now call chakra. They weren't supposed to possess this energy, meaning an Otsutsuki had come to this planet. Perhaps that Otsutsuki had children with an offspring and created these chakra. But Naruto remembered quite clearly what happened that night. While his mind was foggy, he remembered seeing that massive beast made of chakra. He could sense that it was from the Jubei. but it was severely weaker than the Jube. His mind was in a frenzy. His power had sprung out of control, so he needed to calm it down by interacting another power source to it. So he had swallowed the power of the fox. He had completely inhaled it to keep his power stable, to make it adjust this body. And it had adjusted quite well, but he had to sleep for a very long time, until his body inclined to his new power, as he opened and closed his palm. The marks under his eyes glowed slightly as he got back to his feet. The custom of this new world, he has never really seen it before. He has never seen a society that solely rely on pure taijutsu, ninjutsu as they call it. They use ninjas. He has been to many planets before. It was his job after all. But those planets had different materials. They had weapons, pistols, they had cannons, they had other machineries that would wipe away the entire elemental nation if they ever came here. But this planet was so off the radar that no other being would find it. He was sure of that. Especially not the other Otsutsuki. He was glad for that though. He could finally relax somewhere for a while, but he had a feeling that his past was going to come back and bite him in the ass. That was what he really hated about the whole situation. But he was sure that they would not recognize him in this form, or would they? He didn't really know. Damn it. He jumped off the monument. As he started slower his descent down towards the ground, he landed without even making a single sound. As he started to walk off, his mind in a frenzy, thinking about several situations. The family that he was with, they truly care about him, especially the mother. She loved him and the others. In a sense, she was his mother. Because he was Naruto Uzumaki and there was no change in that. His father treated him like most fathers treat their children. He was proud of their accomplishments, but he was busy a lot with work, being Hokage. But the concept of that, well, this place had one ruler. Well, they had a council. On other planets they had dictators, they had prime ministers. But this planet was strange. It was a good thing that he ended up on this planet, and not somewhere else. He paused as he saw Shikamaru, a Nara user, making his way towards him. Naruto had scanned him already. He had not just scanned him, but he had scanned a member of each clan of this village. Oh yeah, he could scan people, and from a mere touch get their DNA. He was created that way after all. The Naras, known to be quite lazy, but they had a high IQ, fit for strategies and battles. As he saw Shikamaru looking up to the heavens, he lied down beside him as he looked up towards the sky. The clouds. You really enjoy them, don't you? Shikamaru had already seen Naruto. Naruto was a complicated person, if one might say. He was not like ordinary kids. Well, Shikamaru was not like an ordinary kid either, but Naruto was different. Yes, Shikamaru said, as he glanced up towards the sky. Hey, are you going to the academy? Time is coming around after all, Shikamaru said. Yes, I believe I am, said Naruto. How about you? Well, knowing you, you would probably think that it was too troublesome. Am I correct? Exactly, said Shikamaru. I mean, what's the point? If I could spend all my days just watching clouds from here, that would be my everlasting peace. A content dream, said Naruto. Well, it's a good one. You think so? Said Shikamaru. Yeah, said Naruto. Why? Doesn't most people? Not really. Especially people our age. They don't like to watch clouds. You're the first one our age, except people from my clan that I knew, that like to watch clouds. Well, I'm different from most kids. Yeah, you can say that again, said Shikamaru, as Naruto glanced up towards the clouds. His eyes squinted for a few seconds. It seems that the rain is gonna fall. As Naruto looked up toward the sun. In 3 hours, Shikamaru looked at him confused. What are you talking about, he said. How do you know that? Oh, a mere guess, said Naruto. Shikamaru shrugged, as he just continued to watch the clouds. Well, I have to go, said Naruto. Yeah, see ya, said Shikamaru. Time skip. 3 hours later. Shikamaru was shocked. Rain was falling. The memory of what Naruto said came back to him almost instantaneously. How the hell did he know that? Shikamaru could not point it down to the direct time because he did not set a time or anything, but it felt like 3 hours. But how would Naruto knew the exact time? He was more than strange. Shikamaru wondered if he should find out more what is going on there. But he sighed. That would be too troublesome, you know what? Forget it. As he made his way inside. Meanwhile, the Namikaze residence. Kushina opened the door. She had a plate in her arm with sandwich on it. As she had a glass of juice, she saw Naruto looking at the mirror. His room was quite normal. He had a bed. He had a table with a lot of books. He loved to read, but he read the books insanely fast. One time she wondered if he was just joking around, but he answered any question that she asked. In terms of knowledge, Naruto far exceeded anyone his own age. She had a mental IQ test done on him when he was 4 years old, and he was reading and perceiving things on a Jonin level of thought, and that was incredible. They hadn't tested him on the ninja fear or anything like that, but on the other one, there was incredible thought process going on. Menma was reading on a far higher level as well, as he was no slouch either, but he was not Naruto. Mito, the girl, was smart, just like her mother here. While she was headstrong and liked to talk, when she truly buckled down she was smart as well. But she wasn't as smart as the other two, but she made up for it in several other ways. While the other two dealt with situations differently in the outside world, Mito adapted things rather quickly. The three kids were just different. She saw him looking at his eyes. What are you doing? She said. My eyes. I told you, she said. You are my very special boy. You just have special eyes. Oh, no, not about that, he said. A bit of debris got into them. Oh, come here, she said. She put the plate down. Let me see. She blew, as Naruto squinted a bit. How is it now? She asked. Quite fine. Thank you, he said. She kissed him on the forehead. You're welcome. I figure you might be in for a snack. As she gave him the sandwich, he looked over it. Did you put mayonnaise? He asked. Mayonnaise? Oh, I'm sorry, we're out. Because of the rain, I wasn't able to pick up some. How did you know? Oh, I was just merely asking, he said, with a pleasant smile. Okay then, she said. Eat up. As she smiled, left the room. Naruto ate the sandwich rather calmly. He really liked mayonnaise, especially on his sandwich. Despite being what he was still human now because of this body, and this body eat. It wasn't like they were two different entities. He was now one entity until this body dies. By old age, or perhaps if someone were to kill it. But that would be rather hard to do, seeing that he was in here. After all, he was not exactly normal. He was built by the very people that created the Jubi. That was the thing that brought chocolate to this planet, he was sure of it. He shook his head as he continued to eat his sandwich and drink his orange juice. It was then that Mainma came in his room with a board, a shogi board, as he sat down in front of Naruto. As Naruto moved towards the drawer and pulled out the paper, Mainma frowned when he saw that paper. It was 15 slashes on it right at Naruto's name, and there was none at Mainma's name. Today, I will beat you, he said. I would like to see you try, said Naruto, as they started to play shogi. Mainma left the room rather upset, as Naruto's name now had 20 slashes. Naruto looked through his window as rain had stopped falling some time ago. It was then that he saw Tsunade and Mito. Tsunade, Senju Tsunade, as she lived really close by. She was the head maid of the hospital, and she had trained prosperous medics. His sister, loved to help people, and she wanted to be a medic as well. As Naruto's eyes focused on Tsunade, he had done this already as he wanted to see if there has been any changes. Tsunade's entire body became green to his eyesight, as there were several things that he could see that normal people could not. For one thing, he could see how much chakra was in her body. For the other thing, he could see what was the max speed she could go from just looking at her. How much strength she could muster with or without chakra. He was completely scanning her. He was making a complete copy of whatever she could do right here and now. Over the past couple of years, there hasn't been much changes. Well, she's been working in the hospital for some time now, so she didn't have much time to train or really go beyond her limits. As he scanned Mito, she was getting stronger day by day from all of her training from Tsunade. Minato had started them off on some small practice training before they entered the academy, as they were the ones that asked for it, while Kushina wanted them to be kids for as long as possible because she loved to be with them. Minato realized that they all want to be shinobis, and he was willing to help in any way possible. Naruto made his way outside as Tsunade saw him. "Ah, Naruto," she said. "You come to take part in my little lesson as well?" "No. I just wish to see how my sister's coming along." Mito pumped her fist. "I'm coming along quite great," she said. Naruto and Menma did not take towards the medical ninjutsu side. They morely take towards their father's style of fighting. While Mito, she take towards both sides. In that era she was like the complete shinobi, as she was trained to become a medic and not to mention a fighter. The girl was special after all. People would say that she was a daughter of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Well, those two people combined would create special kids, and here they were. Meanwhile, that was going on, while Naruto was living a peaceful life, soon to move on to become something greater than he's never able to achieve before. On a different planet away from Earth, there was a man. He was wearing a formal lab coat. As he arrived in the room, he smashed his fist in the table. As he looked around, the lab was a mess. The man moved towards the window. Looking through the window, there was smoke outside. A lot of smoke. It seems like a battle had happened. The man had strange eyes. They looked more pure, but they were indeed Byakugan. But they looked more pure and white. As he had a strange small goatee. He looked rather furious though as his Byakugan eyes looked towards a calming place outside. Whatever had happened seems to have stopped. "Where have you gone?" he said, as he sounded rather upset about it. But guys, be and subscribe right here for one thing sports and do like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification, stay posted. Remember to share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, remember to go ahead and check out the other episodes of Anime King and Anime King 2 guys. And if you're new, go ahead and click that subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.